In my district, which is the home of Electric Boat, which is a shipbuilder that builds nuclear-powered submarines, that is now on a huge trajectory of growth because of a change in focus by the Congress in terms of appropriations as well as the Navy. We, again, have seen a hiring demand in terms of the metal trades that, sort of in the late 90s to mid-2000s sort of atrophied in terms of just the numbers of people and also the focus of trade schools as well as job training programs. The good news is that WIOA, in my opinion, succeeded in terms of bringing together the employer, the trade unions who have been part of this extraordinary company going back to the 1930s and crafting a curriculum that in an accelerated fashion has resulted in over 3,000 graduates that 90% plus have been immediately hired, and the job retention is a smashing success. 10 weeks for welding, 8 weeks for electricians, 8 weeks for CNC machinists. The only thing that's been holding us back, as I mentioned to Dr. Holzer this morning, is really just that there's insufficient funding to get more slots. The hiring target this year for EB is 5,750 jobs in 2023. So again, the need to look at the authorized and appropriated funding levels in my district is issue number 1, 2, and 3. Part of that funding, and again, Ms. Logan, in your testimony, you talked about the fact that IBM has made this process free for workers in terms of going through the pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs. That's also key. I mean, the 10 weeks for welding is very intensive. You can't just hit a pause button on your life in terms of daycare and transportation, paying the rent, and get through this process there. So, Dr. Holzer, again, in your testimony, you talked about the fact that this is just a reality in terms of the number of job openings in the economy and just the real life needs of people to be able to afford going through these transformational training programs. And is that, again, what you were focused on in your testimony?
Yes, I agree with your summary of that. It's great to hear success stories, and we've heard a number of success stories today that I've actually been very happy to hear. We have to be honest about the level of demand, the need for funds out there relative to the resources that are available. And the programs you described really do require trainees to come in with a fairly high level of basic reading and math literacy, digital literacy, et cetera. We have to be honest that not all candidates for these training programs can meet those bars. That's why, in fact, Title II programs are important as well, and investing in the basic literacy. And the best programs are ones that integrate a pathway program that starts with basic literacy and then targets the literacy support to what the skill needs and the training will be. We have some good examples of those programs, and that's a major need as well.
Thank you. Ms. Logan, again, IBM has a nice presence in Southbury, Connecticut, and again, I think it surprises maybe people to hear about a company like IBM using apprenticeships, but the Hartford Financial Group also has been using apprenticeships for a number of years now for their IT. Again, there's a lot of complaints about the fact that it's too burdensome to participate in the Fitzgerald Act registered, but the Hartford Insurance Group, what I've heard is they had no problem setting up the program in accordance with the law. What was IBM's experience with registered apprenticeships?
So first, I'd like to say work-based learning is important in all forms, right? Work-based learning compared with quality programs. With regard to apprenticeships, for IBM, it was important to do a registered apprenticeship. We're a national company. We're very large. We wanted to make sure, both for us and for participants, that if they stay with IBM, and 1,000 of them are now IBM employees, or whether they move on to another company, it's recognized where they go next by other employers. For smaller companies, they may have a different situation. We had to do the bridge between the technical skills for our apprenticeship job roles and what the registered job roles were. So there is some work involved, for sure, and the modernization would advantage the program and allow for more employers to participate.